this Move It sampler class. So Move It is part of a yoga series I teach called Move It, Work It, Stretch It. And the first class of the week is the Move It class. Move It is a yoga practice, but it's all movement based. So think vinyasa and flow and connecting movement with your breath. Although it's not necessarily all fast paced sun salutations like you might see in other vinyasa styled yoga classes. So I just wanted to give you an idea as to what it is that we do in our Move It class every week. So welcome. You can come to standing. And today we are going to actually do a mandala-like practice, which means that we are going to move with our breath. We're going to move through sun salutation-like sequencing, but we're going to be shifting so that we turn to face the back of the mat, we turn to face the front of the mat, and we're going to move a few times like that. So do listen to my voice and pay attention to the right and the left in hopes that I get it right myself every time, but I think I will. All right, so just warm up briefly here. Let's just stand. You can have your feet open, maybe more like shoulder width apart as opposed to hip distance, and just kind of standing right here. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, down. Two more, big stretch, reach for the sky, and release. And one more. Good, and we're just going to swing a little bit side to side. So you can let your arms go a little bit floppy, let your hips sway. You might even want to kind of pivot up on one toe at a time as you sway around. Just think like, I always picture like a little girl standing in line, waiting, bored. Right? It's getting loosey-goosey here, but also getting a little bit of swing happening, a little bit of twist happening in your spine. And then just to get a little bit more serious now that the spine's starting to wake up, let those feet be steady on the ground. And let's put our hands up on the shoulders. Whew. Now we can feel a little bit more of that corkscrew-like action in the spine, so just going side to side. Beautiful. You can start to slow it down. Good, and coming to center. Again, inhale the arms up overhead. Hold on to your right wrist. So with your left hand, you're holding your right wrist. Keep your shoulders relaxed down. Keep your ribs tucking in. There's a little tuck in your tailbone, tone in the belly. And then pull that right wrist to the left while keeping even your left side waist long. So the side of the body is long, and you're pulling, getting a nice good stretch in the right side of your body. Come back up, change the hands, and do it on the other side. Nice big stretch. We're always breathing, right? Good, and back up to center. You can relax your arms. So let's come to stand at the top of the yoga mat. Now your feet are hip distance apart, right underneath your hips. So I like to think of the bony protrusions here in your hips as your hips, and then the center of your foot lines up under that spot. Inhale and reach for the sky. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and fold over your legs. Good. You're allowed to bend your knees to be able to touch the floor with your fingertips. And you can get your bum up nice and high, even though your knees are still a bit bent, especially if it's your first forward fold of the day. You might be feeling a little stiff and creaky. Let's come up just halfway for a moment here so the legs can straighten. Your hands can be on your shins or your thighs. Roll your shoulders back. Think about a nice flat back here. The back of the neck even is long. The neck is a part of the back. And then as you exhale, try to maintain some of that length as you fold again. Maybe bending your knees, touching the ground with your fingertips. So we're going to step back to a plank position. So plank meaning that your shoulders end up right over your wrists, your heels over your toes. And plank can either be with your knees up, nice tone in the belly and a softness through the shoulders, or you can have your knees down, still with a tone in your belly and a softness in the shoulders. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, bend the elbows close to your body. Try to put your hips and your chest on the floor at the same time. So we are coming all the way down to the ground. Point the toes back. Roll the shoulders back and even squeeze your elbows behind you. And try to push your pubic bone into the ground. We'll do 3 cobras. Inhale, lift up just a little bit, using your back strength to get the lift in the chest. Exhale as you relax down. Inhale, maybe starting to come up a little more. You can have a little push in your hands if that feels right. And exhale, release. And then one more time, cobra pose. So we are going to keep our thighs on the ground, keep our elbows bent. We're still warming up. Squeeze those elbows back, reach your chest forward, tuck your toes, pull your navel in, and make your way into your first downward facing dog. Feet are hip distance apart back there. And roll the shoulders to get a little bit broader across the top of the shoulders. And go ahead and pedal out your heels because that always feels good, especially in the first downward dog. And stretching out the back of the legs, getting a little sway side to side with your hips. And then taking a moment there as you get broad across the top of the shoulders to reach your chest a little bit more towards your legs. You're going through your arms towards the back of the mat. And let's take the right leg up into the air. So nothing fancy here, whatever feels right as you lift your leg, your knee can be bent, your hips can be square, whatever's going to work for you in this moment. But on your exhale, see if you can swing your foot all the way up between your hands. So we get a nice long step forward, a nice long stance in a lunge position. Of course, if your foot stops part way, just take that extra moment you need to bring your foot all the way up. Now let's keep our back knee lifted, front knee right over the ankle. Even charge up with your left inner thigh as you get a little bit more lift in the back leg. Good, we're going to swing with the arms. As you inhale, take the arms up and even back a little bit, only going as far into a back bend as feels good for you. And then as you exhale, swing the arms down and back by your hips. You're hovering your chest over your front leg. Twice more like that. Inhale up and back. Exhale down and back. Once more. And exhale. Good, we'll come up again. But this time now turn so that you're facing the long edge of your mat. Your heels are in, your toes are out. Good. Try to bend your knees in the same direction as your toes. As you exhale, bend into your knees, bend your elbows, goddess pose. Inhale, straighten up. Exhale, sit down like you're drilling your spine straight down into the ground between your legs. Inhale up. And again. And up. Good. Let's turn to face the back of the mat. You're going into a lunge over your left leg. Front knee over the ankle, back heel over the toes, charged in the right inner thigh. Inhale, reach up and back. Exhale, come and hover your chest over your front leg, swing the arms back. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, down and back. Once more like that. And back. Good, you can bring your hands to the ground. Now let's step both feet together. So you're going to step your right foot forward, which actually is backwards because you're at the back of your mat, right? Feet are hip distance and parallel. Inhale, flat back. Exhale and fold. Inhale and reach all the way up. Exhale, hands into your heart. Good. We're going to continue moving. I'm going to have my back to the camera for a bit. So listen to my words and see how this starts to feel. All right. Inhale and reach up. Exhale, hinge at the hips and dive down. Inhale, flat back. Good. And placing your hands to the ground, you're going to work your way to a plank pose. Take your time to step yourself back, choosing if you've got your knees up or down, but do making sure that your shoulders are over your wrists and you're feeling your core engaged. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, elbows bend close to the body and the whole body releases to the earth at once. Point the toes back. Good. Let's bring our fingertips on the floor beside the yoga mat and bring the elbows up. Push your pubic bone into the floor a little bit. So that's the same as saying tuck your tailbone a little bit. Create some space in your lower back. As you inhale, press into your fingertips and come up into a cobra-like position. And then exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Once more like that. And down. Good, we're going to come up again. And this time, round your right shoulder forward on the exhale. See if you can tap it to the ground. It might not touch. That's okay. On your inhale, roll it back to come back into the lift. Side to side. Exhale, left. Inhale, lift. Exhale, right. Inhale, lift. Left. Up. Right. Up. Last one. Left. And up. Good. Staying right here. Rolling the shoulders back even more, even starting to tuck your elbows down, reaching your heart more forward, and then slowly release down. Taking your hands in a little closer now by your ribs, tucking your toes. You can push up onto your knees and then make your way into downward facing dog pose, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Broaden across the top of the shoulders. Take a nice deep breath in. Let out a big old sigh. Good. Let's take that right leg up into the air again. So same leg that you lifted before. That's how we're going to work our way through a circle here. As you exhale, step your foot all the way up and between your hands. Turn your back heel in this time. We're going to get ready for a warrior two. So your front knee's got to stay right over your ankle. Back foot is parallel with the back edge of the mat. And then we'll lift up. Right arm forward, left arm back. All right, so in this flow, we want to keep that front knee steady right over the ankle so you're not moving in and out, right? You're going to keep it right there over the ankle. Little tuck in the tailbone so there's tone in the lower belly. And there's even tone in the legs as though you were squeezing the legs towards one another. Turn your right palm up. Inhale and float back, touching your left hand to your left leg. And exhale, coming forward, elbow onto the thigh, reaching the left arm overhead. Twice more like that. Inhale. Exhale. In. And exhale. Good. Let's go back to warrior two. One more time into that warrior two. That knee's still bent. Push into the right heel to straighten your leg. Good. And we'll turn to face the long edge of the mat again. I'm just going to turn around so you can see me on this one. Our toes are out. Our heels are in. Okay. We'll bend into the knees. Turn your fingers so that they are to the inside of your thighs. And then sit down. Think of a sumo wrestler here. Good. So just sitting down a little bit here through the legs. Good. And we're going to roll that right shoulder down just like we did in those cobra poses. And then bring it up. To the left side. And up. And right. And up. You exhale here. And you inhale here. Good. You're going to sit down a little bit more. And then stand up. Good. I'm going to turn so that I'm in the same orientation as you. We've got our legs wide. We're now going to turn our left toes. They're going to point towards the top of your mat. Your right foot is going to be parallel with the back edge of the mat. Bend into your left knee. You're back into a warrior two. You should be on the opposite leg, warrior two. From your feet, pull up into your knees. From your knees, pull up into your hips. You should feel like your legs are engaged and the upper body nice and soft. Turn your left palm up. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, come forward. Inhale back. Exhale forward. Once more back. Once more forward. Good. Come back to warrior two pose. Press through the left heel to straighten the leg with intention. Good. Let's go ahead and step to the top of the mat. You should be facing the top of your mat just where you began. Good. Take a moment here in Tadasana. Feet well placed on the floor. You can even lift and spread your toes. Put them back down. Tuck your tailbone. Feel your lower belly toned. Bring your shoulders up to your ears, back, and then just relax them down. Your palms now can open forward. Feel the effects of working in a circle. And know that we are about to unwind and go around the other way. Good. Inhale and reach for the sky. Exhale, hands at the hips and dive all the way down over your legs. Inhale, flat back. Good. As you fold now, step back, find your plank pose. Feeling nice and strong here. As you exhale, slowly lowering down. You can hover now if you like, or come to your belly. Roll your shoulders back. You can do cobra pose or upward facing dog pose, whatever your back feels ready for in this moment. Using some core strength, pull your belly button in, start to lift your hips, and come to downward facing dog pose. Good. This time we're going to let our left leg lift up in whatever way feels the best for you today. And on your exhale, step your left foot all the way up between your hands. Good. Turn your back heel in. And come up like you were going to go into a warrior two, but you can have both legs straight. Good. So your right toes are pointing to the side of your mat. Your left toes are pointing to the front of your mat. From your feet, pull up into your knees, and from your knees up into your hips. So what that's going to feel like is that you are using the musculature of your legs to draw energy up and into your pelvis. Take your hands up. Reach forward with the left hand, and then just tilt here. So no need to be able to get your hand all the way to the ground. You can have your hand even on your shin as you take your right arm up. Now, the only reason I'm saying it's okay to lean on your shin right now is because you're still pulling energy up from the soles of your feet, right? So your legs are engaged, and there's no risk of hyperextending that front knee. Good, and we'll do 3 big arm circles here with the right arm. So take it up and over, and then down and back. Up and over, down and back. And 1 more big circle. Good. Like there's a rope attached to the ceiling, and you're going to use that rope to pull yourself up. You just pull and lift on up. Good. And now you can turn your feet so that they are parallel, and again, you're facing the long edge of your yoga mat. From here, we'll have our hands on our hips, roll the shoulders back. Good. You still want to feel like you're pulling up from your feet to your knees, from your knees to your hips, and then squeeze your elbows back a little bit. Start to lead with the back of your heart as you bow down between your legs. Good. We'll take the arms out to the side. And we're just going to do a little hovering here as we twist. So just take your right fingertips down, your left fingertips up, and then change, left fingertips down, right fingertips up, like that corkscrew feeling again. Twist, and twist, and twist, and twist. Good. Let's come to center. Hands on the hips. Press into the feet, lift the chest. Good. Let's turn those right toes out so that we can do triangle on the right leg. Pulling up the legs into the hips, feeling energized there. Hands float up nice and easy. Reaching towards the back of your mat now, and then tilting down, resting your hand on your leg while still keeping your legs engaged. 3 big circles with the left arm. Reach up, down and back. Reach up, down and back. 1 more big circle, lubricating that shoulder joint. Good. And looking down at the top edge of the mat, we'll start to bend into the front knee. Bring the hands down, step to the top of the mat. It's actually the back of the mat, right? How confusing. Feet hip distance parallel. You're at the back of your yoga mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale and fold. Inhale, reach for the sky. And exhale, hands into your heart. We've got 1 more time around. Inhale, reach up and back. Exhale, hinge and dive down over the legs. Inhale, flat back. As you exhale, hands come down. You find your plank pose. Knees up or down, feeling nice and strong. And we'll lower with control, either chaturanga or to the ground. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Lots of or, right? Because you get to do it the way your body needs to do it. Pull your belly button in, downward facing dog. Good. Take that left leg up into the air however you please. Exhale, step your foot forward between your hands. Good. We're going to turn our back heel down. We're going to keep our toes pointing in a little bit this time. We're coming into warrior 1 pose. So your back foot is on an angle, essentially. Front knee over the ankle, and we'll come on up. So in this pose, instead of opening our hips over to the right, we're actually going to try and square them off towards the short edge of our mat while keeping the back heel on the ground and keeping the front knee bent. Let's take the arms out to the side. And we're going to cross the left arm underneath the right arm. Now you can either be just kind of hugging yourself here, or you can bring the hands up and start to magnetize the back of the hands towards one another, or you might even be able to hook your fingers around your wrist. No worries if you can't get all the way into the eagle arms here. You just do what's going to work in your shoulders. Good. Trying to maintain that stability in your legs, tone in your lower belly. Inhale and lift your elbows up. Start to go back a bit. Exhale and bow, essentially to the inside of your left knee. Inhale, up and back. There's a little balance in this one. Take your time. Exhale, down and bow. Good, one more time. And down. Good. We'll come up, unraveling the arms, and turning to face the long edge of the mat. Toes are out, heels are in. Good, we'll take the arms up, bend elbows and knees, and draw, like you're drilling your spine down into the ground. You're gonna sit down into goddess pose. Good. Try to keep some stability here in your lower body, and now just start to bend over to the right, like your right elbow is gonna come to your thigh. Then start to tip your chest forward, and then left elbow to thigh, and then sit back up. Cool? Let's do two more in that direction. Right, forward, left, up. We're still sitting deep, right? Right, forward, left, and up. Let's change directions. Left, forward, right, up, left, forward, right, up. Good, sit down a little bit more. And then come on up. Relax the arms. Turn towards the front of your mat for warrior one. Good. So your right toes are going to point towards the short edge of your mat. Your left toes are going to turn in. Excuse me. Bend into the front knee. Try to keep your hips square ring to the short edge of your mat, but keep your back heel on the ground. Inhale, arms up. Cross your right arm under your left this time. Good. And you can hug. You can magnetize the back of your hands towards one another and just stay there with them separated, or you can hook. Tone in your lower belly. Inhale, lifting up and back. Exhale, slow, steady, and controlled. We bow to the inside of the knee. Inhale, up and back. Exhale and bow. One more time, up and back. One more time to bow. Good. Coming up, unraveling the arms. And let's step to the top of the mat. Returning here to where we began. Feet hip distance, tailbone slightly tucked, tone in the belly, shoulders up and back, and down, palms forward. Head balancing at the top. You can even close your eyes for a moment. And just feel the effects of movement, of breath, and not only your body, but your mind and your heart. Bring your hands together, thumbs against your sternum. Let your fingers fan out from that place. Take a moment to feel your heart beating in your chest and your breath upon your fingertips. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.